Hi guys, and welcome back to this channel. If you are new here, my name is Haley, and this channel is focused on clean reads, Christian fiction, classics, and I tend to be very critical on what is in books that I read and really point those out and think that is a priority to warn others about the objectionable things that might be in books. So that brings us to what this video is about today. And that is, how can you really evaluate a book before you start reading it and be able to tell if it's going to be worth your time and if it's going to have bad stuff in it. I am a Christian and a biblical counselor, and it is really important to me that books have good things in them, that I am not filling my mind with things that shouldn't be there. Two verses that spring to mind as I am thinking about, okay, what do I want to be in my books? Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no unwholesome word come out of your mouth, but if there is any good word for edification, according to the need of the moment, say that, so that it will give grace to those who hear." And then another verse is Luke 6:45, "The good person out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth what is good, and the evil person out of the evil treasure brings forth what is evil, for his mouth speaks from that which fills his heart." So I want to be very careful about what I am putting into my mind and into my heart, because those are the things that are going to come out of my mouth. So I don't want to read books that have unwholesome words in them, because then your brain starts to get filled with those and they're more likely to come out. The same thing with any sexual things in a book. I don't want my mind to be filled with that. That is hard to get out of your mind, and then you tend to focus on that. And a lot of parents don't want their children reading books that have any kind of ungodly things in them. And so I want to warn you about those and give you the resources to be able to figure out if it will indeed be a clean book. I'm going to turn on my screen recording on my Goodreads, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use to figure out if a book is going to have anything in it, and if I don't want to be surprised by it, so I do want to see. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because recently I read a book that was part of a book club, and it turned out to not be as clean as I think we were all expecting. And I went to go look at the 1-star reviews, and it didn't really give me much information. So let me show you the book that I was reading, and I'm going to record just going through my process of finding something bad that might be in this book. So first I find the book on Goodreads that I'm going to be looking at. Scroll down to the reviews. Now typically my process would be to go click on 1-star reviews and see what those reviews say. Now, a lot of these reviews for this book was about the writing, or the fact that they didn't like the character development. You'll find a lot of that in even books that you like, and classic books that you enjoy. Sometimes it can be very just subjective, whether someone really likes the character development or connects to those characters. So as I went through all of the 1-star reviews, I really couldn't find anything about content. So based off of those reviews, you might think that even if it was subpar writing or plot or whatever it was, that it might still be okay to read. But having read this book, I knew that there were bad things in them. So I thought, how can I find what I know is in these books? Where would I get a review for that? And so the key, I think, is to typing into the search bar the keywords that you are looking for. So have a list of the content warnings, so language, sex, LGBT, all those things, and type one of those into the search bar and a review will pop up. So for instance, in this book, I'm going to look at LGBT. Search. Now, the unique thing about this is that a lot of people are going to write a review about LGBT stuff that is not negative. They are going to appreciate that the author put that in the book. And this is where the catch is, because you have to look at the 5-star reviews to find these warnings, because a lot of people are going to be praising it. So you can see in this example, I typed in LGBT, all the reviews are 4 or 5 stars. And if you look at the review, it will talk about the representation. And that is where you can find whether that stuff is included in a book by searching for those words because it might be in positive reviews. Now, I am grateful that I read this book so that I can write a negative review on it and parents can be warned, because there really is not a lot of information on these Goodreads reviews. Another thing I can type in is language and see if anyone's talking about language. Here's a 3-star review at the top, and the language, it's talking about language in a positive way, the way that she wrote it. So that is a harder one to type in, because a lot of times people use the word language to talk about how the book was written, not necessarily profanity. So another thing you can type in is sex, see if that's in there. Again, a 3-star review, and there is a content warning here. Another word you can type in is swearing to see that. A word that I commonly use in my reviews is intimacy. So look for reviews on that. So a lot of times you're going to find these content warnings in reviews that are not necessarily 1 or 2 stars. I think that's often where we go to see just the worst reviews that people have left. But a lot of times, even when I read a book, I'll put a content warning on a book that I might rate 4 stars, because it's really enjoyable and the good outweighed the bad in the story. But sometimes we get to a modern fiction book where people are praising what is evil. If we look at Romans, they are really fulfilling that. They have turned from what is good, and they call what is good evil and what is evil good. And so oftentimes we have to look at the good reviews to see the negative things that are in a book. So I hope that this was helpful to you and gives you some tools and resources to figure out whether you should read this book and whether your child should read this book. A big problem in our day and age is the agenda that is being pushed in children's books and young adult books. So I think it is really helpful to have some resources to go to figure out if the book is indeed clean and appropriate for your child. You can also find people on Goodreads or on YouTube like me who will leave content warnings on their reviews so that you are aware and you're not surprised when you pick up this book. I will leave some links in the description to other YouTubers or Goodreads people that I follow that are really helpful in pointing out content. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe and just follow along for the rest of the videos that I do. Bye!